Good morning. This morning I'm going to be planting my tomatoes. I started them from seed on February 20th and I've been hardening them off this last week and a half. I'm planting them even though it's supposed to get down to 32 degrees 2 different nights this week, but I have a plan for that. Okay, here's an update. It's been a couple days since I planted the tomatoes. Some weather stations are saying it's going to get down to 26 or 27 degrees tonight, so I'm taking some drastic measures. I'm going to go ahead and top off this soil. Every year raised beds need more soil added to them. You're doing great. I'll bring you some compost. I'm gonna go ahead and get it really level with this wood board, and that'll help with even watering of the plants. I'm going to be planting 26 Roma tomatoes and 12 BHN 1021s. Then I'm planting 8 big beef tomatoes and 4 Sun Gold cherry tomatoes. I'm going to use this articulating ruler to help get them planted. I've tried using just a regular tape measure before, but it gets plugged up with dirt, so this works really well. We're going to set all the plants out at the correct spacing before we get planting. The cool thing about tomatoes is you can plant them really deep and all these little hairs will become roots. One of the hard parts is going to be watering these because our irrigation isn't turned on quite yet. So I'm going to go ahead and get 2 hoses and drag them over here to the garden and get these watered. I'm hoping the irrigation gets turned on soon, and because it's easier to lay this out before I add my row covers, I'm doing this now. Now comes the part where we cheat Jack Frost. I'm going to use this rebar, a double layer of tunnels, frost cloth, and plastic, and we're going to be able to keep these tomatoes warm enough that they won't be hurt by the freeze. I gotta warn you, this next part isn't pretty. I just used painter's plastic to cover this, and because of the trellis, I kind of have to wrap it around. I'll probably vent these just a little bit for the day because it is kind of hot and sunny, but then when night comes, I'll close it up and we'll see how they survive the next 2 nights. Okay, this should work. You can see that the tomatoes did really well last night. But tonight it's supposed to get several degrees colder. So the plan is to add some more jugs of water to help create a better heat sink and to string some Christmas lights along the whole row in hopes that these tomatoes can make it just a few more days till the weather warms up. Before adding the Christmas lights, I decided to water the tomatoes well because wet soil stays warmer than dry soil. just wanted to show you how this looks. It's 38 degrees out here, but according to my thermometer, it's 56 degrees inside, so hopefully tonight these tomatoes will be just fine. Okay, it's 8:30 in the morning. It's finally above freezing, so I'm gonna unplug these lights, but I'm gonna wait till a little bit later before I lift up the plastic to see how they're looking. The coldest part of the morning is right before the sun starts to come up. My sensor push thermometer thankfully showed that it did not get below 50 degrees, even though outside it was 27 degrees. Now that it's warm enough to look in here, you can see that everything looks good. Just to recap, we had one night this week that was 32 degrees, and then the next 2 nights were well below freezing, but the forecast for the next 10 days shows it's not supposed to get below 36 degrees, so we're gonna go ahead and get this plastic off. The only thing I'm going to leave on here is the frost cloth because it wouldn't be uncommon for it to get within a few degrees of freezing for the next few weeks. But hopefully all of this effort pays off and we get some red juicy tomatoes in early July. If you want to make some of these tunnels yourselves, we have a whole video on how to make these larger metal tunnels or the plastic tunnels. Just click right here to watch for yourself.